Hello, Staten Island. Welcome to another edition of Together SI Business Spotlight. We chat with someone from the small business community on Staten Island. My name is Todd Bavona, reporting for the Staten Island Advance. And today joining us is Liam Gilroy. He is the president of Clarity Financial Strategies. Liam, how are you, man?
Doing great, Todd. How are you this afternoon?
Doing all right. Can't complain, man. So let's get to Clarity Financial Group. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the company, Liam, will you?
So I got started in this business close to 16 years ago. Our focus is working with individuals, privately held business owners, people in a lot of different financial positions to take what's currently going on in the financial markets and adapt their world so that they can meet their long-term financial goals.
And speaking of long-term goals, I'm sure a lot of people's long-term goals were disrupted with the COVID-19 pandemic. So Liam, get to beginning of March. Pandemic hits hardcore on Staten Island specifically, and we're in quarantine. What did that mean for you and your company, and how did you have to shift or do things differently, Liam?
Certainly adapting was something that we all had to do, but also not overreacting was another component to this. Since the sell-off in March, the markets have come back. The financial markets are doing well again, and people are now starting to get back outside. So you've seen a change where we've almost come to one aspect full circle, but that doesn't mean that we're going to be back to normal again. So it's been a balance between maintaining that original goal of retiring at a certain age or being prepared for a child's education, what have you, but also realizing that there is a new normal and there now needs to be some things that you need to tweak to make sure you're going to meet that long-term goal. So we're in a position right now where we're helping people both stay in the course that they were on prior to the pandemic, but also adjust and meet those goals with the pandemic involved in their decision-making.
And there's so many layers to go through when it involves this. But one thing I know we spoke about before we chatted here was everyone's situation is different, right? But one thing's for sure, phase one and phase two have launched for New York City, the borough, whatnot. We're getting a little bit back to what we call normal. Liam, what do you think moving forward your company is going to have to do to pivot its strategy at all, or business models, or less in-person meetings, or just in general? How do you think the landscape, the industry is going to be different when it comes to people's money?
Well, I think there's a give and take here. Certainly more video conferencing, more working virtually is going to be part of how people operate. Office space, commercial office space in Manhattan, and what goes on in Staten Island and people commuting back and forth, that's going to play into it. And you're going to have to work around some of those challenges on how we get around, people not taking public transportation and having all those more people driving in and out of different work areas such as Manhattan. But I do think there is a certain aspect of a personal touch to this business that within, certain safety guidelines, you still want to have, people meeting face to face to some capacity in a socially distant manner. But I still think when you're in front of somebody and you're able to have their attention and be able to look into the whites of their eyes and be able to help them understand what their situation is, that's still going to play into it. So I still believe it's really important to balance between the virtual aspect of how you do business, but still have that personal touch. And that's what we're doing.
All right, Liam, great information there. As always, I expect that from you. And you're right, the whites in people's eyes, being able to see them face to face, there's something to that. And we can do that in a safe manner now. Just got to be smart. Liam, let's end this on a positive note here. Throughout this quarantine, throughout being home, what's the silver line? Some good thing that came from this and dealing with clients in a certain way with Clarity Financial Strategies or at home? What do you got, Liam?
Well, first, fundamentals. Prior to the outbreak or the pandemic, the market was at all-time highs. The economy was at all-time highs. We were a very profitable system, very profitable country. Things were working. Things were working well. Unemployment was low. I believe what happened over the last 3 or 4 months was a function of something no one could plan for or understand. There's no fundamentals to how that played out. Now that we've hopefully gotten over that hump, we can get back to the prosperity that we were experiencing prior to this downturn. So if you had a business, if you had a game plan I think now is the time to make sure that you're still in line with that game plan. And that business, hopefully you've learned how to adapt a little bit and get it back on track. So I think there's a lot more good things to come in 2020. We certainly have some variables to be aware of, like the elections. And is there going to be a second outbreak? Some of the things we really can't plan for. But ultimately, this country and this economic system, capitalism in general, it was in a good way earlier this year. And I think we're going to get back to being in a good way.
That's right, Liam. And again, phase one, phase two, up and running. People are excited to get out of the house, spend their money, but also save money. As you said, be smart, looking over to the future. All right, Liam Gilroy, President, Clarity Financial Strategies. Thanks so much for the time today.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it.
All right. Once again, we appreciate Liam joining us. And thank you for watching, as always, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or, of course, on SILive.com. Reporting for the Staten Island Advance, this was another edition of Together SI Business Spotlight. My name is Todd Bavona. Take care.